that's why they have to go through all this trouble to have a date.
Not that we all don't go through all this kind of
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Well, just, you know,
On the search for a date.
exactly. You know, just struggle to, you know, make a pass at someone or to. Everybody does. It's a natural thing in human beings. But for some reason, in people with disabilities, it's absolute no-no, and that they shouldn't be doing it. And a lot of it is just the preconceived ideas that if you've got a learning disability, you can't learn, you can't do, you can't function, you can't be a part of society. So therefore, you can't do these. You can't have the privilege.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
It sounds to me as the Roots was one of its kind in the country, and you already spoke about how if you had the opportunity to do it again, you would. And I'm sort of sitting there thinking, often everything gets centralized in my neck of the woods, in London. Would it be possible to start having a conversation with some of the more organisations in London that focus on black and brown issues to start something maybe nationally that help bring in some funding?
That is definitely something I'd be interested in doing, because always throughout my work, I was very conscious of the fact that this is happening up north. And yeah, we did travel, because with Roots travelled all over. We went to London. We went to speak to the Bereavement Council there in London. They invited us to come. We've been all over the country to different things. But I do think that if there was a national campaign for the type of voice and influence project like a Roots, it would have much more impact. It would be much more, I think, the attention to it, because Roots got a lot of attention because of what it was. It was unique. It was doing. You know, we were bringing people in, because I was saying all along, you know, let's engage people. Let's bring people in. Hence the reason why Simon said he worked with Joe, because these are initiatives that, you know, even after I left, I asked my sister, would you work with them? Because I didn't want to leave them to no one. You know, this is how it was. It was a passion for me. But it's something I do feel, in order for it to really have the impact, it would have to go national. And if there was a group of people that were willing to come around the table and start that conversation, I'd be up for it.
Michael's scheming there, you can see.
Another one of the core things that really impressed me, and you actually don't see this in a lot of organisations, whether they're working with the youth sector or mental health or anything, but it was, you know, the makeup of the group was that the decision-making power was with them, wasn't it? Which
absolutely.
was, and I thought it was fantastic.
I mean, that was fundamental, and I think, sorry, I'm eating a Christian apple, but in anything that you develop that is focused on a particular group of people has to be them at the centre. There's no point in doing it if they don't say what needs to be done. So even in the work I do now, we have BME Hub as an example. We have representatives. I don't make decisions. I will facilitate what they tell me, because I just feel if I am representing the communities, I've got to hear what that community is saying in order to impact that community, because otherwise I'm just doing me, and I could do me all day long. But it's not just about me, it's about the wider, bigger picture. And if I'm putting myself in that role of representative in any way, shape or form, I have to think of the wider, you know, the bigger picture. So yeah, I mean, I just think there's a lot more that we could do. I think we were fortunate in Leeds to have that opportunity to have that and create a legacy with a template for something that can go big. You know, it could be, and it's always something that was in my mind, because I do feel the platform that we created was a really strong one, and more, there could have been more, because out of the initial roots that we had, we also had a branch which was an Asian roots, we called it. So it was a group of Asian people, and it was only because we recognised that the needs of the African Caribbean community that was coming from them were their needs. So we have to acknowledge that that's their needs. They have their specific, so I can't compromise that by bringing a whole bunch of other people in there to compromise. So we set up a different one, because with the Asian communities, they have their specific needs. So there were things that were relevant for them, that were important for them, that we needed to hear, we needed to listen to, and we needed to highlight. So they had their group that they would do a very similar thing, and I think that's one of the things for me. Yes, diversity is all well and good, but everybody, and I'm not saying it in a negative way, everybody has an identity, and everybody's stronger when their identity is recognized, whatever that identity is. So if we're going to empower people or keep people strong, we have to allow them to have their identity and still continue to be, you know, able to give, but to give as themselves. And I think that applies to people with disabilities too.
Any other